What's up, guys? We're going to give a couple seconds for everyone to jump on and we're going to crank away. Boom, boom, boom. Can't get this to go. You are live. Alrighty. What's going on, guys? It's your favorite mortgage lender, Abdel Khawatmi, Got Mortgages. I appreciate everybody jumping on today. I'm going to do my best to go over the full-blown agenda that you guys are going to see right here, right next to me. And then we're going to go over everything step by step and kind of go over what are the different strategies that is going to get our offers accepted in this market. Now, we're going to start seeing a massive shift than what we've been seeing within the last year and a half, right? The market has transitioned dramatically where in 2020 and 2021, it was almost physically impossible for you to not be able to place an offer and get a offer accepted without you going 30, 40, $50,000 more. Now we're going to start to kind of go back to that. We kind of missed that for a few, I would say about a year, kind of reeled in. Although some hyper competitive markets, guys, don't get me wrong, we're still till this day going 30, $40,000. Now, what's the biggest difference? It all comes down to basic economics, supply and demand. And that's really what we're going to go over today. We're going to discuss what are the various different strategies that our team is employing that is giving us the ability to get our offers accepted and simultaneously make home ownership possible. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, and this is one of my favorite things I love telling my clients, forget the interest rate. Okay. And that might be something that's very difficult for us to, accept, or it's very difficult for us to truly get an understanding of. But the two most important things that I advise my clients and those of you guys who are watching or watching after is we need to take a look at your monthly payment and your total cash to close. Those are the two most important things that us as professionals need to advise our clients. Okay. Now, what got us to this point, right? The Federal Reserve had to take a very aggressive approach. They were probably took it a little too late to hike their federal funds rate. They hiked it right now where we're at. It is the highest it's been in 22 years. So the federal funds rate, though, is not the same as mortgage interest rates. It is different. It is not the same as mortgage interest rates. It is not the overnight borrowing rates for banks. Okay. So that is the thing that we simultaneously need to keep in mind when we are looking to place offers and stuff like that, because as rates start to go down, what is going to happen? We're going to start seeing a lot more offers on homes. We're going to see hyper competitive times where we're going to go back to that 30, 40, 50K offer. And we're going to go over a lot of different strategies of what we do with our referral partners to kind of get an understanding of what's the best options. Okay. Now, when we talk about strategizing our offers, the main topic for the discussion for tonight, we're going to go over what I think are the top 7 things. And we're going to go into deeper into what are the 15 different strategies that you as a consumer can employ with your professional to get your offer simultaneously accepted. Okay. So we're going to take a look at the first thing we want to see is your offer price. Okay. When you're placing an offer on a home, what specifically is going to allow you the ability to get your offer accepted? Okay. If a house is listed for $400,000, the first thing that I do when we work with our referral partners, even before we check the house, is how are something called comps. Comps means comparables. There's 3 different types of appraisal approaches. There's a sales comparison approach, an income approach, right? And then we take a look at one that's like a geodesic, which is like a cost approach, how much it costs to rebuild the home. The most common one that we come into play, I would say out of many files, especially we're talking about residential 1 to 4 unit properties, we're looking at a sales comparison approach. We're going to take a look at all the various different comps, comparables. Well, specifically the appraiser is going to take a look at at a minimum, usually anywhere from 3 to 6 different comparables that they're going to provide based on what they can, home space, right? Square footage. They're going to look at bedrooms, bathrooms, location, school systems. Is it far from certain amenities and things like that? That gives value to the home. Okay. So when we talk about offer price, that is hyper important. I have gone this year, we've been blessed where we've only had actually 4 files get under appraised with a lot of deals closed. So we definitely look at that because when we're working, and it's funny, it was two of them were two of the same referral partners. So we want to make sure that we're staying on top of, if we see a house for $600,000 and we're offering $700,000, not to say that it's not realistic, but you better make sure that you have access to that $100,000 to cover that difference if we're coming in as appraisal waivers and stuff like that, which we're going to cover. We also go into your loan type. So this is one that I don't necessarily agree with, but it is kind of the running force where listing agents are a little bit more prone and a little bit more willing to go with a conventional loan over an FHA loan. I'm not necessarily a fan. I can understand sometimes maybe the reasoning why. And I'll tell you guys, the biggest difference between an FHA loan and a conventional loan, they're both money. It's all green, right? Um, Qualification parameters, usually FHA is a little bit easier. But the main reasons why sellers and listing agents are a little bit more prone to go with a conventional loan over specifically an FHA loan is the appraisal. So an appraisal on an FHA loan is a little bit more stringent. So it's going to be a little bit more eye, catchy to chip paint, crack windows, missing siding, missing gutters, missing handrails. A conventional appraiser may simultaneously also flag those things, but more than likely sometimes does not, is usually pretty much in and out when they're doing a conventional appraisal as opposed to an FHA appraisal. Now, what we like to do with our clients, let's say you can't go conventional because your credit score is not there or you need the extra boost of debt to income. With our consumers, we work with our referral partners, and if we're going to place an FHA offer, we say that the consumer is going to cover the FHA, any flag potentials that come up on the appraisal report, which now levels the playing field and gives us the opportunity simultaneously to be successful. Okay. Now, we also want to take a look at the lender utilized, right? So, of course, I'm going to be biased with this, and I'm going to tell you guys that you most importantly want to make sure that you're working with a local lender. And I can confidently tell you guys one of the biggest reasons that allows us that ability is when you go in and you place an offer on a home and you're going in as a hyper local lender, you're going to have that much more of an ability to get your offer accepted, mainly because that lender is going to have a reputation that is going to get your offers accepted at the same time, which we're going to go over even more, right? We talk about timeline. So, of course, the quicker that you have the ability to close, hence why some of my recommendations are utilizing a local lender. Don't get me wrong, brokers are great. But brokers are going through another lender, although some of them do have the ability to close hyper quickly. I'm not going to take that away. I'm very good friends with a lot of different various brokers. You want to make sure you're doing your due diligence because not every single person is going to treat you the same way. We talk about, again, contingencies. So contingency is a big one. We're going to go over 3 of the most common one: an appraisal contingency, inspection contingency, and a financing contingency. Okay. Now, we talked about appraisal. We talked about down payment. Now, what are the 15 strategies that are going to allow you, in my opinion, the top tactics to get your offers accepted? Okay. And we're going to start off the first one. We talk about an escalation clause. We're going to go over that in detail. What does that mean, especially as we head to a competitive market? If you're not looking to waive the appraisal, or if you have a cap that you want to reach, that's where an escalation clause kicks in. Where if a house is listed for 400,000 and you want to offer 440, but you don't want to necessarily come out from the get at 440, you could say offer 420 with a 440 escalation. Meaning if anybody comes in and says offers, in that example of 435, you have the ability to come in and automatically your offer would update to say, 440 or 436, beating out the other offer. Okay. We talk about leaseback and UNO. This is very, very common. It's coming now. I've got some properties where the client has actually closed, but we haven't had the ability to obviously get the deal done because mainly they're just simultaneously, waiting to find something themselves, right? I skipped that. So then we talk about, again, higher upfront deposit. As I mentioned, utilizing a reputable local realtor and, most importantly, a reputable local lender. This has been a biggest driving force that is allowing us the ability, especially as rates come down, guys. You're going to start seeing a lot of these telemarketing and, Bluetooth prone lenders who have absolutely horrible service, leaving you with a bad taste in your mouth simultaneously. Even on the realtor side, when you're working with somebody brand new, I've had some transactions this year. Uh, you know, you could tell the realtor was a little fresh, which is okay. But sometimes you don't necessarily have the ability to. It goes against the buyer, right, and doesn't necessarily work for them, right? We talk about moving expenses and transfer taxes. That's another strategy that we employ. Closing terms, so could work both ways, right? Having the ability to close hyper fast or being okay to close in say 3 months. I have a deal right now for a good family friend of ours. And got the offer accepted. So the offer got accepted. They don't want to close till March of 2024, and the lady doesn't want to move out until May of 2024. Now, the offer came on our table for a price range that I think is very competitive. Therefore, I told, our family friend, dude, you got to take this. We'll get you approved immediately. More than likely, we'll probably start the actual file itself, probably towards, beginning of mid of next month, January 2024. Just so we can keep the docs fresh and I'm not having my team waste necessary time. I know that the clients are easily qualified for the mortgage, and we take it from there. So you could either have to close really quickly, or you may need to understand again the seller and what they're looking for, right? Now we also talk about understanding the seller. So again, this person, she's a little older, right? The seller's a little older, doesn't necessarily want to move, doesn't necessarily want to put things in perspective in terms of moving to a nursery home, moving to this or moving to that. So we have that understanding. There's other sellers, guys. If they're investors, they want to close tomorrow, right? And if they want to close tomorrow, we need to be able to have the necessary ability to be able to close tomorrow and get those proper certain expectations immediately rectified, right? Now we're gonna also go over like we were talking about, right? First to view and offer. So this is a big one. So it's funny. 2022, you could probably drag your feet to a second, and again, not every single offer. But now you're going to have to be a little bit quote unquote quick to pull the trigger when you're checking out a home, right? Because it is going to get a little crazy. And, that person who's quote unquote thinking about the home that they just looked at may necessarily not be interested, right? And then you come in, you just checked out the house, you place the offer, you're going to boot out that other person. Okay. So super important that we keep that in perspective. Not necessarily rush to buy, but if it does check out the necessary boxes you have in mind, I would highly suggest that you do. We simultaneously talk about inspection contingencies. That's a big one. Again, you want to work with your realtor who's going to have a very firm understanding to look out for certain things. But that inspection contingency is major too, right? We want to make sure that the house checks off all the buttons. The house necessarily doesn't have dings, scratches, or anything of that nature that's going to hurt you from getting your offer accepted, right? Financing contingencies, again, you want to make sure you've actually truly been pre-approved. Guys, I can't even tell you how many deals we've been approached with this year to help a client. Some we've been able to help. I'll be honest with you, almost a good majority, if not more, we're not able to help. The client does not qualify. Income's not there. Can't get a cosigner. House is a piece of shit. Can't get approved. Right. Consumer simultaneously doesn't have enough funds. We have ways where we could strategically make sure that we get the offer to go, work simultaneously with all parties. But you have to be able to employ those apps. So super important with the financing contingency that client is truly pre-approved and they're working with that lender. It's going to actually get the job done, right? We talk about down payment sourcing, super important. Need to make sure that we have what's called POF. A majority of our clients, when we're placing in our offers, we're doing what's called proof of funds. We want to make sure before the listing agent or the seller side even ask, we have the ability to show them, hey, dude, we have the money, it's ready to go. Here it is, whether it's a 401k, redacted on the account number, checking account, saving account, you're going to get it from a gift, whatever the case may be. You have to make that seller feel rest assured. Put yourselves in their shoes. We want to make sure that we come out as strong as we are. And if we're showing that we're going to put 20% down, 30% down, or even 10% down, having that proof of funds truly shows that we're ready, willing, and able to close immediately. Cleaning our offer is setting realistic expectations, right? So the offer needs to come in as clean as possible. What does that mean? We don't want to have to ask for additional certain things, especially during the attorney review stage. This is a big one. I always constantly see a lot of different people who place an offer a certain way and then they go and they change the offer because of ABC, right? Or they want to close in 14 days and then all of a sudden now there's a sales contingency involved. It's not a good look and it makes you look like crap because now you have the ability where you could be potentially sued or you could potentially be in breach of contract because you're not necessarily at the same avenue of what you offered, right? And then we talked about obviously being flexible and having the ability to close fast. So diving in a little further to recap, we're going to talk about escalation clauses, which we spoke about. Again, offering a little bit more and leaving that little cap that if anyone comes in higher, you have the ability to boot them out. We talked about a lease back, right? Lease back meaning that if you need the seller to stay in the property for 2 months, like that example with a family friend of ours, we're going to close in March. It can't be more than 2 months because FHA requires the consumer to move in by 60 days, which we're going to make sure gets done and simultaneously gets the expectations set, right? Now, we also have utilizing, as I mentioned, a local agent. Crucial, crucial, crucial that a consumer utilizes a local agent, whether it's in a specific county, specific city, who knows the insides and outs, knows what's to avoid, knows how's the area, knows the school systems, as opposed to utilizing, whatever the case may be, somebody who's not local to that area. We talk about offering again a little bit more upfront deposit. This is a big one. Actually, I got to give kudos to some of our referral partners because some of them will have the client put, if their total down payment is $20,000, on a $400,000 home, they have the client to put the entire $20,000 up front, which I love it, right? It's not necessarily 20% down, but it is showing that the client does have a lot of skin in the game, right? Then we go over again, utilizing, in my opinion, like I mentioned, a local lender, understanding the market, having a very firm reputation, working with a lot of different local realtors, working with a lot of different professionals. That's going to allow our reputation to help you get the offer accepted. And we've been blessed to have that ability for people to know that we can close quick, we can set proper expectations, and we can, most importantly, if we're going to stick to a timeline, actually commit to that timeline. Now we're going to talk about if you're making an offer on a competitive home that is occupied, consider offering monetary value, right? So consider offering whatever you can in order to get the offer accepted, right? Then we're going to go over understanding the seller. Be the first to offer, right? If we're going to be the first to offer the seller, we have to be able to be hyper quick to offer that listing and get the offer accepted, right? We're going to go over at the same time waiving the appraisal. And give me 1 second. I'm going to put my phone on the charger. All righty. Sorry about that. I had to put my laptop on the charger. But now we're going to go over also. So you're waiving the appraisal. And this is a big one. So, where do you even start, right? We talked about comps, we talked about sales comparison approach, and making sure that everything is simultaneously done correctly in terms of the expectation for the offer getting accepted. Now, another really important thing that we want to go over is if you're going to be waiving the appraisal, you have to have the necessary funds to cover it, right? Now, here are my 5 options, which you guys see right over here, that is going to tell you guys what are the various different things that you should be doing. The first one is you can dispute the appraiser's report. You can revisit the financing, which means that if you're putting, say, 10% down and you can bury a 5% shortage, you can within that loan amount. You can negotiate with the seller if you didn't waive it. Even if you did waive it, try to see what you can put together. You could also cover the difference at closing. If the house underappraised by 10,000, you can cover the difference of $10,000 by putting a little bit more. And then the last thing, and of course, something that we don't want to do, but you do have the option for terminating the contract. Again, we are not attorneys, so you want to make sure that you get with your attorney to make sure that they can coach you on if there's any legal exposure or legal ramifications that you have to run into, right? Uh, we talked about inspection contingency, so this is a big one. So when you're checking out a home, you know, you want to make sure um, mechanical, structural, and environmental are the 3 most important things that you want to make sure the property is in good shape. So does the bank, too. Remember, an inspection is truly for the benefit of you, the consumer. It's going to go over the house with a full blown microphone, right? It's going to go over it. They're going to make sure that there's no nicks, knacks, termites, asbestos, mold, oil tanks, or anything of that nature. Super, super important that you get an inspection done when you're purchasing a home. It is vital because things might look great, especially if it's a new construction or especially if it's a gut. Those are the ones that they're usually using cheaper material or they're patching it up. You have no idea what the heck is going on behind there, right? So you want to make sure you hire that right inspector who knows what to look for. We talked about financing contingency, guys. It is insane. As I mentioned, the number of phone calls that I get, on a daily, weekly basis with some of these clients, and I'll look at their files and I'm like, dude, I can't help you, or we got to do ABC. We got to structure the file this way. We got to change this. We got to change that because, dude, you're in rough shape. Can't get the job done. So you want to make sure that if you have a very, very strong lender, you're getting kept up to date. If you got pre-approved 3, 4 months ago, that lender, you better make sure you speak with that lender because your qualification power from 3, 4 months ago could potentially be 75 to $100,000 more than it was 3 months ago because rates went from almost 7.5 to now 6.5. I just locked actually somebody yesterday an FHA loan on a situation just like this that I posted on social media. We got the phone call Friday, submitted the file Monday, loans approved yesterday, Tuesday. Now, we were able to simultaneously get that client from an interest rate of 7.25 from a different lender to an interest rate of 6.125 on an FHA loan for a 2-family home in Patterson, with them only needing to bring 10% down. We needed to bring 10 instead of 3.5 because of their down payment. Massive, massive difference that you want to make sure you're employing. We talk about having clear and flexible and fast closings. Very, very important that we have the ability to close fast. We have the ability to, again, be clear on what it is that we're looking to accomplish, not asking for certain things. Guys, I've seen deals die because they're asking for a wash machine or they're asking for a hot tub or they're asking for a stove or couches or anything like that. You have to understand, like we said, the seller and understand the position that they're in. If they're moving far away, they likely don't want that crap, right? So you might be able to get something cheap. That actually happened to us when we bought our second home down the shore. Um, we lucked out because the sellers were super cool. We closed very, very quickly. We offered 60 grand more than the house was listed for, right? But we were able to simultaneously get a bunch of crap. Well, I shouldn't call it crap, but a bunch of stuff for super discounted price. I think I paid like $1,000 for things that were like $10,000 in value. They left me a hot tub, which ended up breaking 3 months later, which kind of sucked. I had to buy a brand new one. But I did end up meeting an electrician who did the hot tub, who I did 2 financings for him, right? So it all ended up working out. But it was crazy that we understood that they were going to move to, I think it was South Carolina. They were waiting on the house to get done. We let them potentially stay in the home for a month for free. They did it for like a week or 2 weeks. And they were so grateful, they actually didn't even want us to pay for the stuff that they gave us. And I don't even think, did we even end up paying for it? Yeah, we didn't even end up paying for this stuff. So put those things in perspective, but understanding asking for those things up front could potentially be detrimental to getting your offer accepted. Right now, recapping again, guys, and I'll let you guys go. So we're going to talk about the top things. We spoke about waiving the inspection, the appraisal. You can also limit the inspection, but the 3 most important things that I do recommend, I'm not necessarily a big fan of waiving it entirely, but you want to limit the inspection to environmental, structural, foundation, or mechanical, right? We have larger upfront deposit is a big one. Structuring your offer above asking, right? Being understanding. We have a lot of different tools, bid over ask, that's going to show you what the statistical level of appreciation for your break even point that you're going to be able to take advantage of, right? We talk about, again, the ability to offer UNOs and quick closings. We spoke extensively on that. Offering to pay transfer taxes. I just ran into a situation that the client didn't even know it was negotiated to pay transfer taxes. Go figure. You want to make sure that you offer that strategy, but at the same time, know that your agent's actually offering that strategy. Avoid asking for personal property, which we obviously just went over. We talk about understanding the seller's motivation, right? And understanding what specifically is the seller looking for. Are they looking to close quick? Are they selling? Are they dragging their feet? Are they older? Are they an investor? An investor is going to want to close quick and wants top dollar. An older person may necessarily also want to close, right? But doesn't want to also fix crap, right? They'll give you a credit as opposed to an investor is not giving you a dime, right? They know that they could probably fix something fairly cheap and not have to pay necessarily a seller's concession or anything like that, right? Um, and then we talk about working with the right lender. Okay. And of course, I'm going to be biased on this, but I'm going to tell you guys, working with the right lender is going to get you guys the ability to get the offer accepted. It's going to get you guys the ability to simultaneously work with strategic avenues that allows us and our clients the ability to close very quickly. Okay. And last thing, guys, remember, as a home buyer, it is obviously super, super, it's going to be crazy. It's always been crazy, but I think it's going to be even crazier. You want to make sure that our job is to take off the stress and the pressure from your offer getting accepted. And you may luck out and get your first offer accepted, or it might take a little bit of time, and that's okay, right? As I always tell my clients, I don't put a timeline on our pre-approvals. If your income and your credit and everything like that stays the same, dude, I don't have to rerun your credit again. Okay. I just have to make sure that if it's within 120 days, we just have to do another check, but your pre-approval is still good, right? Just make sure that you don't max out your credit cards, change your jobs. And if you do change your jobs, congratulations. Hopefully it's something that's a little higher. Don't go from a W-2 to a 1099. You shot yourself in the foot. You don't have a history of 1099 income. So many different variables and tactics. I'm going to work heading into the new year on doing just like we did last year. We hosted from January to June in-person home buying seminars consistently every other week with a few referral partners of mine. And then we did the Advancing Home Ownership Workshop, which is all virtual from July to the end of this year. So we're going to work on implementing the same into it next year, doing a little bit more shorter by going Instagram Live, Facebook, and making sure we set the proper expectations. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out to us. Again, my name is Abdel Khawatmi, the owner and branch manager of Paramount Residential Mortgage Group, Got Mortgages. You guys can check out our website, gotmortgages.com. I hope this video was insightful if you guys are checking this out later, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a great day.